Hi guys, it's Linda aka Ammonia Void here with my 7th episode. I have a little bit of sun here, so that's unusual for the Netherlands. And this time I decided to ask you guys what you would like me to cover. And in my Instagram story, I posed this question and I received quite some cool requests, so I decided to cover some of them here in this episode. The main overarching theme will be why am I photographing sex and intimacy, or like in general, why I'm doing what I'm doing, what am I actually capturing in my art, and how does my art relate to other photographers. So let's begin with the first question. Why am I doing what I'm doing? I mean, it's a very good question to ask ourselves like every few months, I guess, because we know where our life is going and if what we're doing has certain purpose or meaning. And I would like to start with mentioning a period in my career when I actually stopped photographing. And it was when I moved to the Netherlands and I applied to a diplomacy school to study international relations, because art career was not really something that my parents wanted me to do. So I thought, okay, I'm maybe gonna try something else and just prove to my parents that I can have a career in a different field, and that I can complete a study. So I started this bachelor in The Hague, and even though I felt that I can finish it, or I can totally operate in this world, I felt that because I am not photographing and I'm not immersed in art, I'm just completely lacking my life purpose, or that I'm just doing something and going blindly throughout my days, or the time is just passing, and I felt that I'm not really leaving anything behind me. And I didn't really have the means to take pictures. I also didn't feel, or I wasn't in the mood to take any pictures. So there was like this period of, I think, between half a year to a year when I didn't take a single picture. It was so frustrating for me, that I really felt like I'm missing a limb or something. And this saying is really true, that like um, once you lose something, you understand the true value of it. And that was like this with me in photography. So during this period of complete frustration, I applied to a degree in art, and I decided to do it simultaneously. So I'm just gonna finish the bachelor and apply to another bachelor. And ironically, it was easier for me to do both at the same time than just do one that doesn't really fulfill me. And so while I proved to my parents that I can do diplomacy, I also proved to myself that photography is a really necessary aspect of my life, and it gives me some sense of purpose, direction, and also it makes me happy because um, it is a means of expression for me that I cannot find anywhere else. And so I was very sure that I need to do this thing in my life. So that is like one main reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I think also the question that I received from the person, he or she was more interested in maybe why I'm photographing the themes that I'm photographing. So as you already know from my previous episodes, I focus a lot on photographing intimacy, vulnerability, and some kind of energetic intensity. Um, I think the main thing what I'm trying to do with my photographs is search for some kind of truth, whether it's personal, whether it's existential or philosophical. I feel that there is so much fakeness in the world, in the society, on social media, that I really crave to see people when they are their true self. And when I get a glimpse of that, or like even if it's just a split second, it just gives me this hope that it is there, or we have it inside us. And I'm trying to search for it more and more, because I feel it's also more and more rare. And these ephemeral things, these things that do not last, it's of course like a selfish desire to immortalize this feeling or this moment. Sometimes it's not possible, but I always try to make it, not make it happen, but if I find it, I try to capture it through photographs. And it's something very personal for me, because all my images are also a mirror to myself. And photography really gives me, or becomes a medium for me, that I can express myself in a way that I cannot express myself through any other medium, verbally, or I don't know, even through writing. It's just for me to express a very intense emotion, that I can transfer it on the viewer or on myself, that I can keep it somewhere, like in a little box. And that really became so special for me, and I don't know where else I can recreate that. It's like a form of authenticity that I try to find in this ultra fake world. And in a way, the collection of my images that I see, like working as a whole, it is something like a world that I created for myself, and an escape from reality for sure. And sometimes I just like to stay in that world, because it's just more comforting for me. and and I just hope that maybe through my images I can give people this hope too, whether it's a project about happiness, or that can be transferred on others, or make people question certain things that I question too. It's like a two-way process for sure. And the core maybe is that my images are maybe like portals to our deeper selves, but that cannot function for everybody. It's just something that I see sometimes, that the image becomes this tunnel towards deep self, deep emotions. But it cannot be like that for everybody. Maybe if I make an image with a certain intention, the person who looks at it doesn't have to necessarily see it there. But also that's the beauty of interpretation, that maybe the person feels something completely different. And that brings me like to the last question that I received, and that is, how does it my way of photographing relate to other photographers? Honestly, I don't really know how to answer this question, because I don't really make my images while thinking about other photographers, or I do not compare myself to other photographers. But why I decided to include this question in this video is because recently I was asked by this encyclopedia platform to curate a selection of photographers for this page. And I thought, like, who do I select, or what will be the curating criteria? And I decided to make my list on transgressive female photographers, or like photography projects that really somehow inspired me, or changed something for me in terms of perspective throughout my photography career. So I decided to share this list with you, because in the end the platform will also be an open source. And I'm very curious, if you look through the list, if there is a project that resonates with you, or that you find some similarities maybe with my work. And yeah, I just wanted to make this short video to address your questions. And in the comments, feel free to ask more, or if you want me to elaborate on something a little bit more or deeper. But for now, that's a little update here from Ammonia Void. It is, I think, my shortest episode, but let's try how how this works. And I see you soon. Ciao ciao.